The complexities of love and relationships can often lead to unforeseen consequences, sometimes resulting in tragic outcomes. Sophie Nguyen, a 16-year-old girl, found herself enamored with Michael Tran, a 28-year-old pilot of considerable means. Their romance, marked by excitement and adventure, seemed like a fairy tale at first. However, beneath the surface of their relationship lay deep-seated issues that would ultimately culminate in a devastating tragedy that reverberated throughout their community and beyond. On the morning of June 15, 2023, in a tranquil suburb of Los Angeles, California, Michael was abruptly awakened by unusual sounds. As dawn broke, 3 masked intruders forcibly entered their residence, brandishing weapons. They swiftly subdued Michael, tying him up, and proceeded to the bedroom where Sophie was resting with their infant child. This invasion shattered the peace of their home and set the stage for an unimaginable horror that would unfold in mere moments. As their 11-month-old baby cried, the intruders demanded money. Sophie, unaware of the full extent of the danger they were in, was compelled to disclose the location of their valuables. They discovered $20,000 in cash hidden within a Monopoly game box, yet this amount did not satisfy their greed. The assailants, exhibiting brutal intent, resolved to ensure that no witnesses remained. During the chaos, Michael overheard his wife's desperate cries as the intruders threatened their family. Sophie, known for her resilience and strength, attempted to resist, but was overpowered by the intruders. The harrowing sounds of the struggle echoed throughout the home, creating an atmosphere of terror that would haunt Michael indefinitely. The cries of their child added to the horror, amplifying the sense of dread in the air. Following the ransacking of their home and the theft of valuables, the intruders committed an unspeakable act. They suffocated Sophie. While Michael remained bound, he was powerless to intervene. The final moments were filled with anguish, as he could only listen to the muffled cries of his wife and the wails of their child. Upon the intruders' departure, they left behind a scene of devastation, with Sophie lying lifeless beside their distressed infant. The innocence of their home was irrevocably shattered, replaced by a scene of chaos and despair. Upon the arrival of law enforcement, a grim scene unfolded. Michael, still restrained, was found alongside Sophie's body and their crying child. Initially perceived as a victim, Michael soon became the focus of scrutiny as investigators began to question the authenticity of his account. Detectives meticulously analyzed every detail, uncovering inconsistencies in Michael's narrative. The absence of signs of struggle in the house contradicted his claims of a violent altercation, raising suspicions regarding his involvement. The investigators sought to piece together the timeline of events, examining every possible angle to determine the truth behind the tragedy. Forensic experts were called to the scene to gather evidence. They meticulously combed through the house for fingerprints, DNA, and any other physical evidence that could provide insights into the identity of the intruders. The absence of forced entry and the lack of any defensive wounds on Michael raised further questions. Why had no one heard the commotion? Why was there no sign of struggle in the master bedroom? The forensic team collected Sophie's smartwatch, which had recorded her heart rate and other vital signs leading up to her death. This data would later become crucial in piecing together the timeline of events. The detectives also reviewed security footage from neighboring homes, hoping to capture any suspicious activity around the time of the incident. As the investigation progressed, evidence began to surface that painted a different picture. Data from Sophie's smartwatch indicated signs of distress prior to her death, showing a spike in her heart rate as she faced the intruders. Furthermore, discrepancies emerged in the timeline of Michael's emergency call. Ultimately, he was arrested on charges of premeditated murder, revealing the darker aspects of their marriage that had previously remained hidden. Investigators uncovered a troubling history within Sophie and Michael's relationship. Diary entries revealed Sophie's feelings of entrapment and isolation. Despite her love for Michael, she had experienced increasing control over her life, leading to a sense of powerlessness. Sophie had once been a vibrant and ambitious young woman, eager to pursue her dreams, but those aspirations were stifled under the weight of Michael's dominance. Sophie had aspirations for her future, education, career, and independence. But those dreams gradually faded as Michael exerted more control over her life. He dictated her social interactions, monitored her finances, and isolated her from friends and family. The emotional toll of such control was profound, leaving Sophie feeling as though she were living in a gilded cage, trapped in a life she had not chosen. Sophie's isolation was not just emotional, it had practical consequences as well. Friends and family noticed her gradual withdrawal from social activities. Invitations to gatherings went unanswered, and her once vibrant personality dimmed. The few friends who tried to reach out were met with excuses or outright hostility from Michael, who viewed any interaction as a threat to his control. This isolation intensified Sophie's feelings of loneliness and despair, making her more dependent on Michael. As the trial commenced, the courtroom atmosphere was charged with tension. Michael maintained his innocence, asserting that he too was a victim of the horrific crime. However, mounting evidence painted a different picture. Prosecutors presented Sophie's diary, social media posts, and testimonies from friends and family, illustrating the toxic dynamics of their relationship. The defense argued that Michael was merely a grieving husband who had lost his wife tragically. Witnesses provided poignant accounts of Sophie's struggles, emphasizing her kindness and aspirations. Friends described her as a bright light, full of dreams and potential, who had been dimmed by the oppressive nature of her marriage. They recounted her confessions about feeling trapped, further solidifying the narrative of a young woman who had been diminished by her circumstances. The jury listened intently, the weight of the testimonies palpable, as they sought to understand the full scope of the tragedy. In addition to friends and family, expert witnesses were called to testify about the psychological aspects of domestic abuse. Psychologists explain the dynamics of abusive relationships, detailing how abusers often manipulate their victims into submission. They discuss the cycle of abuse and how it can escalate over time, leading to dire consequences. This expert testimony provided the jury with a deeper understanding of the context surrounding Sophie and Michael's relationship. The trial also highlighted the role of technology in modern relationships. Prosecutors presented evidence from Sophie's phone, including text messages and social media interactions that illustrated the controlling nature of Michael's behavior. These messages revealed a pattern of monitoring and manipulation that further painted Michael as an abuser rather than a grieving husband. The jury was faced with the stark reality of how technology can be used as a tool for control in relationships. After extensive deliberation, the jury reached a verdict. Michael was found guilty of second-degree murder. The courtroom was filled with mixed emotions, relief for some, heartbreak for others. Sophie's family felt a sense of justice, but the void left by her absence would remain. Michael was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison, a stark reminder of the consequences of his actions. In the aftermath, Sophie's family established a foundation in her memory, aimed at raising awareness about domestic violence and providing support to victims. The foundation sought to offer resources, counseling, and safe spaces for those in need. Sophie's story became a powerful catalyst for change, encouraging individuals to speak out and seek help. The foundation also worked to educate the public about the signs of domestic abuse, emphasizing the importance of recognizing and addressing such issues before they escalate. The foundation launched various community outreach programs, including workshops, seminars, and support groups. These initiatives aim to educate the public about healthy relationships, the signs of abuse, and available resources for those in need. They also provided a platform for survivors to share their stories, fostering a sense of community and solidarity among those affected by domestic violence. Sophie's Foundation collaborated with local shelters and mental health organizations to provide comprehensive support for survivors. They organized events that brought together survivors, advocates, and community members to raise awareness and promote healing. These collaborations helped to create a network of support that extended beyond the immediate aftermath of violence, offering long-term resources for recovery and empowerment. This case illustrates the complexities surrounding love, control, and the devastating effects of domestic violence. Sophie's experience serves as a critical reminder of the importance of recognizing and addressing abusive dynamics within relationships. It underscores the necessity for open conversations about domestic violence, enabling victims to find their voices and seek assistance. The narrative surrounding Sophie's life is not merely a tragedy. It highlights the urgent need for education and support for those in abusive situations. Community organizations, support groups, and educational initiatives must be strengthened to raise awareness about domestic violence and provide assistance to victims. The truth ultimately emerged, but the cost of a dream turned nightmare was profoundly high. Michael A., once seen as a loving partner, had transformed into a figure of oppression. Their story serves as a sobering reminder of the potential for love to devolve into control and violence, and the necessity for vigilance in recognizing the signs of abuse. To combat domestic violence effectively, it is crucial to foster a culture of awareness and support. Schools, workplaces, and community centers should implement educational programs that teach individuals about healthy relationships, consent, and the signs of abuse. By empowering individuals with knowledge, we can create a safer environment for everyone. Another key aspect of preventing domestic violence is the role of bystanders. Friends, family members, and even acquaintances can play a crucial role in recognizing signs of abuse and intervening when necessary. Training programs that educate individuals on how to safely intervene in potentially dangerous situations can empower communities to take action and support those in need. Sophie and Michael's tale exemplifies the intricate nature of love and relationships. It underscores that while love can foster happiness, it can also lead to tragic outcomes when respect and equality are absent. We must learn from such narratives to cultivate a society where individuals are empowered to live safely and freely. The legacy of Sophie Nguyen stands as a poignant reminder that love should never come at the expense of one's autonomy or life. In light of this tragic story, it is imperative that we advocate for stronger support systems for those affected by domestic violence. Community awareness campaigns, educational programs, and accessible resources can play a crucial role in preventing similar tragedies. By fostering an environment where individuals feel safe to speak out and seek help, we can work towards breaking the cycle of abuse and creating a future where love is defined by respect, equality, and safety. As we reflect on this heartbreaking narrative, it is essential to remember that every individual deserves to feel safe and valued in their relationships. The story of Sophie Nguyen is not just a cautionary tale, it is a call to action for all of us to be vigilant, compassionate, and proactive in supporting those in need. By standing together against domestic violence, we can honor Sophie's memory and work towards a brighter, more equitable future for all. The tragic events surrounding Sophie and Michael's relationship serve as a stark reminder of the importance of empathy and understanding in our communities. Moving forward, we must strive to create a culture where individuals feel empowered to speak out against abuse and seek help without fear of judgment or reprisal. Men in particular have a crucial role to play in the fight against domestic violence. By engaging in conversations about healthy masculinity, challenging harmful stereotypes, and actively supporting survivors, men can help shift societal norms and contribute to a safer environment for everyone. Advocacy efforts must include diverse voices, recognizing that everyone has a stake in eradicating violence. Establishing safe spaces for survivors to share their experiences and seek support is paramount. These spaces should be welcoming and inclusive, allowing individuals from all backgrounds to feel comfortable discussing their struggles. By fostering a sense of community, we can help survivors rebuild their lives and regain their sense of agency. Storytelling can be a powerful tool in raising awareness and fostering understanding. By sharing narratives like Sophie's, we can humanize the issue of domestic violence and encourage others to empathize with those affected. Every story matters, and each voice contributes to the larger conversation about ending violence and promoting healing. In addition to community efforts, there is a pressing need for policy changes at local, state, and national levels. Advocating for legislation that strengthens protections for survivors, increases funding for shelters and support services, and enhances training for law enforcement can create systemic change. Engaging policymakers and raising awareness about the issue can lead to more comprehensive solutions that address the root causes of domestic violence. In conclusion, The story of Sophie Nguyen serves as a profound reminder of the complexities of love and the potential for darkness within relationships. It is a call to action for each of us to take responsibility for creating a safer, more compassionate world. By advocating for change, supporting survivors, and challenging the status quo, we can honor Sophie's memory and work towards a future where love is synonymous with respect, safety, and equality. Together, we can break the silence surrounding domestic violence and build a society that values and protects every individual. Sophie's legacy will live on through the foundation and the lives it touches. Her story, while tragic, serves as a beacon of hope for those who find themselves in similar situations. By sharing her narrative, we can inspire others to seek help and remind them that they are not alone. The fight against domestic violence is ongoing, and it requires the collective effort of individuals, communities, and institutions to create lasting change. In addition to physical safety, mental health support is crucial for survivors of domestic violence. Trauma can have long-lasting effects on an individual's mental well-being, and access to counseling and therapy can play a vital role in the healing process. Integrating mental health services into support systems for survivors can help them navigate their experiences and rebuild their lives. Educating young people about healthy relationships and self-worth is essential in preventing future instances of domestic violence. Schools should incorporate programs that teach students about consent, respect, and communication skills. By fostering resilience and emotional intelligence in young individuals, we can equip them with the tools to recognize and avoid unhealthy relationships. Media plays a significant role in shaping public perceptions of domestic violence. Responsible reporting and representation of these issues can help raise awareness and promote understanding. Journalists and media outlets should strive to cover stories of domestic violence sensitively and accurately, highlighting the experiences of survivors and the need for societal change. As we move forward, let us commit to being advocates for change, allies to survivors, and champions of a society where love is defined by respect and safety. The story of Sophie Nguyen is a call to action for all of us to be vigilant, compassionate, and proactive in our efforts to end domestic violence. By working together, we can build a future where every individual feels valued, safe, and empowered to live their lives free from fear. In today's digital age, technology can be a double-edged sword in the context of domestic violence. While it can be used for stalking and control, it can also serve as a tool for prevention and support. Mobile apps and online platforms can provide resources, hotlines, and chat services for those in need. Increasing awareness about these tools can empower victims to seek help discreetly and safely. Engaging youth in advocacy efforts is essential for creating a culture that opposes domestic violence. Schools and community organizations can implement programs that encourage young people to become advocates for healthy relationships. By fostering leadership skills and providing platforms for youth to voice their opinions, we can inspire a new generation to challenge the status quo and promote positive change. Addressing domestic violence requires an understanding of cultural nuances. Different communities may have unique challenges and barriers when it comes to seeking help. It is crucial for organizations and advocates to approach the issue with cultural sensitivity, ensuring that resources and support are accessible and relevant to diverse populations. Comprehensive education about domestic violence should be a fundamental part of school curricula. By incorporating discussions about healthy relationships, consent, and the signs of abuse into educational settings, we can equip young people with the knowledge they need to recognize and address unhealthy dynamics. This proactive approach can significantly reduce the incidence of domestic violence in future generations. Employers also have a critical role in addressing domestic violence. Workplaces can implement policies that support employees facing domestic abuse, such as flexible work arrangements, access to counseling services, and training for managers on how to recognize and respond to signs of abuse. Creating a supportive workplace environment can empower survivors to seek help and maintain their employment during difficult times. The fight against domestic violence requires a unified front. By collaborating across sectors, education, healthcare, law enforcement, and community organizations, we can create a comprehensive support system for survivors. Together, we can challenge societal norms that perpetuate abuse and foster a culture of respect and equality. As we reflect on the story of Sophie Nguyen, let us remember the importance of empathy, understanding, and action. Each of us has a role to play in combating domestic violence, whether through advocacy, education, or simply being a supportive friend. Together, we can create a world where love is truly a source of strength, safety, and empowerment for all.